Hi, welcome to Traveling Young. Today we're here with me and my dad.
I'm here for emotional support.
Yeah, you are.
I'm gonna drink some fine rum while we talk.
Today we're doing a little update on school because I made a video a while ago talking about school, briefly mentioning where I was going, gymnasium, all of that. And I think a very, very long time ago I talked about after school and everything. So now you're here.
Yeah, you did a couple because you also did one with Velas. Where you compared schools, and then and then when you started gymnasium, you did a bunch of stuff. So now it's time for an update.
It is.
And it's been a while since you've been on video alone, so you asked me to join you.
Yes, because I
can represent America.
Yeah, exactly. Because I kind of want your view as well of what you think about this, because this is obviously very different for you as it is for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first, at gymnasium, as I'm sure most of you know, there are different lines you can take, which I'd like to explain to our family as like majors, I guess. And it's kind of what your education is centered around. And I specifically am doing Samfundsfag English, which is like social studies, society, at an A level, so we'll have it for all 3 years, and then English. For obvious reasons.
Yeah, like if I were to compare that to high school.
Yeah.
In high school, everybody basically takes the same, let's say, 5 classes on like math, science, English, gym, physical fitness. I'm sure there's some other one I'm not thinking of at the moment.
Yeah.
And then they have some electives, but they aren't necessarily. They're more like fun stuff. Like I took art or like photography or something like that. So it's pretty different, but here, I mean, my observation is part of the reason it's that way is like public education in Denmark extends beyond gymnasium. So it's natural to be more invested in preparing the students at your age so that you will be even more successful in university, because that's still part of the public education, time, right?
And it also feels like here they're a little more invested on what you actually want to do. Like, they're not wasting your time. Like, if you want to do this, go get an education for that. Because I specifically am just at an SCX, but I mean, you can do trade school for all kinds of very specific things. So I think there's a really good opportunity to be able to just take an education of what you want to do, even as a teenager, which you can't really do in America.
What do you think about that compared to your friends who were here just last year, and I know you talk to them all the time and their experience? Like, do you like that part of Danish education?
I do. I like that my education is based around something I actually enjoy, like even at this age. But it's also kind of scary because, I mean, in the U.S., it's even intimidating having to decide your major at 18 years old. But, I mean, some people in gymnasium are 15.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be 18 either way.
Yeah.
But it's still scary to, kind of choose what direction I want to go through to and stuff. But there is some flexibility with gymnasium that there isn't in university, where it's a lot easier to change what you want to do, and there's room to be able to.
Yeah, it's more challenging to do that when you've started paying for university in America. You've got some kind of, you can change, but you might have to repeat things, or there might be time and money wasted, so it's definitely treated a little differently.
There's the whole like Kornflu period here, where that entire period is basically just like, does this work for you? Does this fit? And so it just feels a lot more flexible with what you want.
All right,
I like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about class size, and I feel like this is the biggest struggle that I've had since we've gotten here with school, because it's such a big change as to what I was expecting, at least. Because in the U.S., you have like the same group of 30 people just for that year, and then you have every class with them, and the next year it's a different group of 30 people.
But this is when you're younger.
Yeah. That's when you're, like
elementary school.
5 to, like 11.
Yeah.
And then in middle school and high school, and I guess college, you have different classes with different people every time. But here in Denmark, in folk school and gymnasium, you just have like 30 people, and that's your class, and you have every class with those people for the entire time. And it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and actually, let me make one point, because this came up in the video that you did with Velas where you mentioned class. There's a difference in the U.S. when we refer to class. We often mean like everybody in the entire school that's the same age and grade as you.
Yeah.
Not just one classroom.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, my graduating class was like 350 people.
You were not sitting in a room with
350 people, no. So just for you to know, that's the difference of the word class. But when you're saying, and this, you're saying like these people that you're with day to day are the same people.
Yeah.
Basically the whole time.
Yeah. And so it's kind of a lot of pressure because you're put with these, 30 or so people, and just that's kind of it for 3 years. So it's kind of a gamble almost. Yeah,
this makes me think about, like, if I compare like bigger, more populated areas in the U.S., like where I went to school. Like I said, there was like, 300, 400 people that graduated with me. And then my school in total had like 2,000 people because we had 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades there in high school. There was so much diversity there, which means, you may only have a group of 15 people or 20 people that you get to be good friends with. But when there's 2,000 people, you're probably going to find 20 people that you have similar interests to, and you can like find what we would say your tribe, where you fit in and where you can find friends. Now, comparing that to a small town in America, where you're at a school that only has like 100 or 200 people, then you're probably going to have an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe being able to find somebody to fit in with, and that sounds like is what can happen here.
Yeah, because like I mean, of course you can have friends in other classes that you see in passing periods, and you have lunch with, whatever, or you have in art or something. But like for the most part, your class is like it. So if you don't get along with those people, you're kind of in for it.
That's unfortunate. To me, obviously I'm not there. Mm-hmm. So I'm just inferring what I think could happen, which is it seems like it would be harder for somebody to be an individual.
Yeah.
Because what might make an individual becomes a difference that makes them different than conforming to the group of 29 other people. And you have to be committed to making it work with those other people, even if it means sacrificing some of what makes you an individual, rather than being able to kind of embrace those special qualities in you that make you different than somebody else.
Yeah.
Which I think that diversity is positive. Mm-hmm. And I like that I got to grow up in a school that had enough people that I could find folks.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like my school in America, I loved it just because I never felt like I had to fit in. I could just be me, and then the friends would,
Yeah, you'll just naturally
filter your way through
find people. Yeah. Like, just to give an example, I had when I was in high school, I had 7 periods in the day. Mm-hmm. Every day, 7 classes. Yeah. Periods would be different classes. Each of them had like 30 people. Mm-hmm. So that's 210 people. Now, obviously, some classes had some of the same people.
Yeah.
But let's say you filtered that down. You still have at least probably 100 to 150 people that are different that you're interacting with every single day.
Yeah.
So that increases the chance for you to kind of find those people that you connect with much, much easier.
Yeah.
And then they become your friends. And then like we would hang out even in between periods, or we'd have lunch together even though we had a class in the morning together because we were really good friends.
Yeah.
And that just let me kind of grow my social bubble significantly. And I don't know, I think for me that was important, because I think to me in those ages of like 14 to 18 to 19, that's when you're like crafting a lot about who you are as a person. And you want to be able to find people that kind of like basically embrace and are excited about those differences in you. So anyway, I mean that was...
But I totally know how you feel. Like I feel like I do kind of prefer the American way of, at least in high school, how it works, where you just have different people in every class. Just because then it's like, well, if you don't like the people in your social studies class, I mean, you're only there for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But in this situation, if you don't like the people in your class, I mean, you're there for 3 years.
Yeah, so I'm curious about this, though, like, in social things, like, if I go to high school, like, I know there's not, like, a football team, but, like, football games, everybody's mixed together. Like, a school dance, everybody's mixed together. There's still there's even opportunities to engage with people even outside your classes.
Yeah.
Because I could join the football team at the extracurricular activities or the social events that the school provides a pot.
Yeah.
Basically, also to meet new people.
Yeah.
Does that happen here?
Kind of. The school does arrange like parties sometimes for like everybody, which always helps. But we do have like extracurriculars. I'm in a design class, but kind of the problem is like there's not a time in the day when everyone has their extracurricular. A lot of times, from what I've experienced in my design class, it's just other people from other Samfundsfag classes. And so it doesn't, like, you're meeting people from other classes, but they're still in the same, kind of line as you. So it's not like as diverse because you're not meeting people who are, in, the science line or the language line or something. So it doesn't, like, you're meeting other people, but it's not like as diverse.
What's interesting about now as you're talking and I'm thinking about it, the folks that I now still, I graduated from high school in 1994, so that's like what, 28 years ago. The people I stay in touch with today still are the ones that were in my elective courses.
Yeah.
Because that naturally would make you assume they'd have similar interests with you because those are classes you chose to take.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that I became close friends with because we were in this class by choice. And
you chose the same thing.
Yeah, because we were interested in the same stuff. And they're the ones still today, 28 years later, that I still interact with and occasionally see and talk to. The ones that were in the like predefined courses I had to take, English and math. I mean, some of those people maybe, but those were probably also somehow aligned with my interests.
Yeah.
The people that I met through these other things. So I think if that social kind of like concept didn't exist, it would be a lot more challenging for me even to feel like I fit in, regardless of it being another country. Even if it was my country and my language and stuff, I would still struggle to find people I fit in with. So it's got to be even harder in your case.
And I definitely felt that way in folk school because in folk school there were no I showed up in like 8th grade, so there were no extracurriculars anymore.
Yeah.
I know that in the younger years you have like art class, but once I got there's no art class anymore. So it was just the required classes. So that was definitely a little bit harder. But
well, I'm so glad you went to after school
because
that gave you that chance,
so nice.
And that's your friend network. Now a lot of that still is.
A lot of my current friends, I would say like 80% of my current friends I made at after school, and it's just because we all chose to be there, and you're 100 people that you can just talk to one of the same age as you compared to 30. And so you're bound to find someone who has the same interest as you.
All right, so now as we get to the end of this, what do you wish that you knew? Well, I guess you just started gymnasium, so if we just talk about gymnasium, what do you wish you knew that you know today that you wish you knew? Yeah. Because you've changed things a little bit trying to make it all work out. So what would you do differently if you started from scratch today?
Well, I just to say how much experience I have with wishing I knew things before, I'm currently on my 3rd gymnasium, so that's great. But
you're also indecisive a little bit, I think.
Maybe a little.
Well, no, actually, you make decisions quickly. Maybe it's not indecisive. You make decisions quickly, and then you question yourself. Maybe I don't know the right way to say it.
Well, it's just but I think I just wish I knew more about just how it all worked, because I didn't really know that much about gymnasium before I started. I thought that it was way cooler to go to the very specific schools, like the business school or the science schools. I thought it was kind of boring to go to an STX, and so in the beginning I didn't even want to go to an STX. I started at a business school, and then I found my way there and realized that you can do specific things at STX. But yeah, I wish I knew that, and there's some certain things that people know about certain gymnasiums that I didn't know, because obviously I'm not there's some society things that people know about certain schools that I never knew because I haven't been here that long. And so I just kind of wish I knew some of that stuff.
What surprised you now that you've and you've got You know, I mean, I know we answer questions occasionally when you have them about what it was like for us.
Yeah.
Although that was 28 years ago, as I previously mentioned, so things have even changed since then. But you talk to your friends, Sydney and Amanda, often, so they give you what surprises you still today on what it's like here compared to.
Well, maybe not here, but specifically like with gymnasium, I think, you know, I've been here for like 4 years now, and I haven't really had that many experiences in school that felt familiar, like that reminded me of home, was like a way of teaching that I knew. But there have been multiple instances in gymnasium that I'm like, oh, like this is like what I used to do. Like I know how to do this. Or just the method of doing things. Like my math teacher likes to give out worksheets, and he's like the first teacher since my 8th grade math class in America to give out worksheets. And I was like, oh, like I know this. And so I was just kind of surprised to feel that familiar, which is kind of nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I mean, you like it now. I mean,
Of
you're
course.
in, and you're
I'm
rocking it.
I'd say I'm settled.
All right, very good. Well, I don't. It's like I'm interviewing you, but I don't know why, because I talk to you all the time, and now my rum is all gone.
Oh yeah.
But hey, if you know, let's say, I think what do you think of the videos that we've made so far about school is the one that everybody right now should watch?
Oof, that's a good one. Like right now after watching this?
Yes.
I think either the after school one, like the very first after school one, like me getting kicked out in my after school situation.
Yeah.
Or the US versus Denmark one.
Let's go with that one, because there's a one thing.
US versus Denmark.
Below, we're going to link to Vilas, who's in that video, US versus Denmark schools. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. And let's just wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.